Hey everyone, Megan from Lionel here, and today I'm with
Mike Reagan.
and we are going to talk to you guys about our plug and play accessory system. This is a very easy to use for both the new person as well as the true hobbyist. But we're going to kind of run through some of the different pieces of track, what kind of power supply you need, as well as show you some of the different accessories we're offering. First off, in front of us, you're going to see a basic 40x60 loop, which is actually included in majority of your starter sets. We've got your basic Lion Chief locomotive, basic run operation. You kind of probably have got the gist of that. We want to show you how to make this set right here extraordinary with their plug and play accessory line of products. What do you have to add?
Well, let's start with the products themselves. So what I want to do is I just basically want to cover what products are available for the plug and play system in terms of the more utilitarian pieces. We've got our 6-81313, which is basically the single plug and play lock on or plug and play terminal track. Next up is our 6-81317, which is a fast track accessory activator pack. And basically what this is insulated outside rail. We have a very similar product in our non-plug and play fast track line. Basically what it does is it allows the train to control the accessory. So we'll get into explaining that a little bit later.
Yeah, it works perfect with the auto gate man, right?
Yep, exactly.
Perfect.
Auto gate man, and really any accessory that requires train presence to make it activate. So signals, crossing gates.
Oh, okay, cool.
You know, anything like that. And it's really up to the user as to what they want to connect to it. But it's a tool that can be used in expanding the layout. Next up is our 6-82046. Which is the 36-inch power tap cable. Basically what this is it takes a single port lock-on and turns it into 3 ports. And it's about 36, it's 3 foot long. So if your lock-on is here and your accessories are positioned elsewhere on the layout, you get about 3 feet over, plug your accessories in. All of our plug and play accessories come with a 36-inch cable on them.
Okay.
So you can be up to 6 feet away from the original point of connection to the track.
Which gives us tons of opportunity to expand.
It does. It does. It can also make somewhat of a spaghetti factory in a smaller layout at the same time, which could potentially scare some people. But we can show you how to get around that. It's real simple. Next up is our 6-81314, which is the 3-position terminal for plug and play. What's cool about this piece is that it has an auxiliary power supply. So the basic concept behind plug and play is we are robbing power from the track. The power on the track is what's controlling your train. So as your locomotive and your passenger car roster grow and you have more pieces on the track that are consuming power, we're kind of at a little bit of a disadvantage because the accessories are stealing that available power away. Yeah. So with the auxiliary port, we can then keep the power to the track dedicated to the trains. And then we have dedicated power to accessories to run those and so on and so forth. And of course, I know everyone's thinking, well, can I make this 3-port, a 9-port, using 3 of these? And the answer is yes. You know, you could make it just about any quantity that you want in 3s as you go up. So 3, 6, 9, 12. You know, depending upon how many of these you add, you can have several. I don't recommend it, but you can do it.
We're going to need more power.
Yeah, a little bit more power. And then finally, we have our 6-foot power cable extension, which is the 6-82043. And basically all this is it's a 6-foot extension. So as the layout grows and you get accessories that are further away from the track, you know, if you're working off of a single plug and play terminal and you've got a 3-position power tap in there, but you find you need even more distance, put the 6-foot extension cable in and you can grow.
Awesome.
So pretty simple. It's just like the extension cords you have at home, right? This is basically your terminal strip. This is your extension cord. And, you know, when you put it in those terms, it's pretty easy to understand.
One thing that's really cool, too, is that this particular piece of track is included in majority of our new 2016 sets. So you've already got the piece you need to get started in building your railroad empire.
Okay, so let's get started with putting the plug and play system into your track. Megan, you want to go ahead and install that single port terminal track? 10 inches long, replaces a regular 10-inch straight track out of your ready to run set. Now what's cool about these lock-ons is they have LEDs on them. And so the LEDs tell you that, hey, track power is present, I have power, and I'm ready to accept some type of an accessory. So you want to grab that floodlight tower there?
Yeah.
So we've got one of our, well, before we plug that in, let's show them how
Just
it works.
so excited.
Wait until we get the bigger power. So we've got a single floodlight accessory. So what we're going to do is we've got the plug and play connector on the end that's connected to the accessory itself. It's a 3-foot cord. We've got it wrapped up here so that we don't create our spaghetti factory too quickly. You want to go ahead and plug that into your lock-on? It only goes in the plug one way. Once you get it plugged in, the accessory light comes on and you're in business. So real simple to add accessories to a layout. And again, it can be a starter set or it can be an existing railroad.
Yeah.
So we got our train running, our lights illuminated. Pretty simple. Now, again, we talked about in the beginning that the power for this accessory is now actually the power for this locomotive. So if we add that 3-port power tap into the equation, so unplug this. We've got this 3-foot power tap extension that basically turns our single lock on into 3 ports, and we plug our accessory into it. We've got our lights. So now we have another accessory. How about a house? You know, let's add a little residential property to our layout. So one of our bungalow houses, we simply take that and plug that into this port over here. There you go. So we've got our structure here illuminated. We've got our floodlight tower illuminated. We still have control over our train. And everything's working in unison. We're in good shape. Eventually we're going to get to a point where we exceed the power supply that comes with the set. We exceed the amperage available from the power supply that comes with the set. And so we want to show you what that looks like. What else do we have? Let's grab that gate man there for just a minute.
All right. It's actually one of our, I would say probably one of our best-selling plug-and-play accessories.
Indeed. And the classic auto gate man, who can go wrong? Mm-hmm. So the auto gate man comes with a multifunction control box. And basically what this box allows you to do is you have the ability to turn an accessory on and off. So in the case of the gate man, it would be the interior light in the shed. You can turn that on and off with the control box. And then if you push down, either in the off position or in the on position, it activates the momentary action. So in this case, it would be the gate man leaving the building. So very simple to wire up. You simply take the plug and play cable from the gate man accessory itself, plug it into the back side of the accessory control box. The accessory control box goes into your 3-port power tap here. I got that wrong. I got it wrong. Again, only goes in the connector one way. So, right now the light's illuminated. We can turn that light on and off with the switch. And if you push down, either in the on position or in the off position, the accessory activates. So what we have here is a classic example of how we've overloaded a power supply. What I mean by that is I'm going to turn the light on in here. So my power supply for the track is providing 18 volts DC. Mm-hmm. I've got the light in the house on. I have my illuminated floodlight tower on. Mm-hmm. I have the light on in my shed. And I'm going to push and hold this activation button to make our gate man come out. Now notice how things are flickering on and off. Mm-hmm. That's because I've overloaded the power supply.
And you can also tell on your track too that that's happening because the LED is actually flickering as well.
Exactly. So notice we're not running the train right now, it's just sitting on the track. Mm-hmm. Now go ahead and run the train.
We won't.
So don't have enough power to run that train. So we've overloaded or we've exceeded our power supply. So a couple things you can do. Number one, you can go out and purchase one of those 72-watt Lion Chief power supplies. which is basically a 4 amp power supply. About 3 amps more than what comes with the set. You can go down that path, and that's fine. That's a good way to expand. You could get the multi-port lock-on and use that 72 watt power supply to power the multi-port lock-on so that you have dedicated power to your accessories and the power to the train is uninterrupted, or you're not consuming additional amperage from the track power supply. A lot of different directions you can go. So what we have here is the Lion Chief 72 watt power supply, and again, this is basically a 4 amp DC power supply. Since we only have one barrel jack adapter track, the one that came with our set, what we're going to do is we're simply going to replace this power supply with the larger one. So go ahead and unplug that barrel jack, take it out of the equation completely. We're going to take our 72 watt power supply, plug it in. Put the cord, I'm going to take our round barrel jack, plug it into our barrel jack adapter track. And now basically what we have is we've got 4 amps of power on the track. So we're running our train. We're activating our accessories. All of our lights are illuminated. And we've got basically power to grow. Now, like I mentioned before, what you want to try and do is you want to try and have power dedicated to the train and power dedicated to the accessories. What that means is if you continue to grow and add accessories to your layout and eventually get to the point where your accessories aren't working, your trains still are, right? Yeah. Or vice versa. You get to a point where you've got so many locomotives on the track that the trains aren't working, but the accessories still do. And so how do we achieve that? That's where the 3-position terminal track comes into play. So let's go ahead, and I think we have it over there.
We have it over here? Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug this, this 3-position power tap cable. I'm going to go ahead and unplug these accessories here so we don't scare you too much with a cacophony of wires in place.
Breaking track over there.
Yep, I can get it. Okay, so now we've got the 4-port or the 3-port terminal track in place. So how do we fix this? Well, let's go back to our power supply that we had for the train that we started with, and let's plug that back in, put that back into the equation. This is the barrel jack from our 72 watt power supply. We're going to plug this into the barrel jack of our 3-position lock-on. We're going to take the smaller power supply, plug it into the barrel jack that came with the set. And now what we have is I've got power from the smaller power supply, or the original power supply that came with the set, going to the track. And I've got power going to my multi-port lock-on with my 72 watt power supply. There's a trick though. There's a switch on the side of this. Auxiliary and track. If you have this switch in the track position, the LED is still illuminated, so it gives you the idea that, oh, it's working.
It's all working.
Well, guess what? We haven't done anything different at this point. Until you throw this switch to the auxiliary position, you're consuming your track power to run your accessories, which is what we want to get away from as we grow. So make sure the switch is in the auxiliary position. We can take these 3 accessories and plug it into the 3-position terminal, or we can take our 3-foot 3-position extension, or power tap as we call it, plug it into the lock-on track, and plug everything into here. So now we're able to take 3 ports and make it into 5 ports. If we take 2 more of those power tap accessory cables, we turn it into 9 ports off of 3. And so you can continue to grow. And with that 72 watt power supply, again, the train is completely independent. So let's go ahead and get the train running. And now we can run our accessories all day long. In fact, we can even bring in other powered animated accessories and continue to grow with those.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and stop the train for a second, and let's grab. Let's do a burning switch tower.
Ah, cool.
Burning switch tower is a great accessory. Go ahead and put this down. Need one of those accessory power boxes so we can get the animation going. And you want to go ahead and wire that up?
Yep.
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and turn this on. That turns the interior lights on. You can see the, I don't know if you can see it on the video screen or not, but there's a flickering red fire light in there, like the building's on fire. And pushing the button brings the guy down the step to grab pails of water. So now we have all these accessories here, and we still have room to grow. Because again, we've got 4 amps of power. We can add a lot of accessories. And you got to keep in mind that all these accessories, the likelihood of them being activated at one time is pretty slim.
Pretty slim.
Unless you've got a house full of kids and everybody wants to push a button at the same time.
Like mine?
Like yours, yeah, exactly. But even still, you can activate all these accessories simultaneously and still have power to grow. Eventually, you're going to get to a point where you're going to exceed the power supply of this 4 amp transformer. You can get another multi-port lock-on, another 72 watt, and grow accessories in that arena. You may notice that the switch tower is burning. We're not melting any electronics here.
That's part of the features.
It's a burning switch tower, so it produces smoke. So don't everyone on the video panic. There's no everything's under control.
But if you keep adding these, though, it'd get pretty pricey, wouldn't it? If you kept adding?
Potentially, but you know, even if you were to run this entire railroad with AC, you're eventually going to do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You're going to run out of power. You
Yeah.
get a 5 amp transformer, another 5 amp transformer, another 5 amp transformer. Eventually, you're going to continue to exceed your power
absolutely.
limitations. Even with a ZWL, which is a 36 amp transformer, I know people in the marketplace who have 6 of them on their layout, and they're at the limits, right? They can't, and that's 36 amps times 6. That's a lot of power.
Yes.
That's almost like a home-based welding business. So, and no, we're not selling welders. Nobody get any crazy ideas. So let's talk about that fast track accessory activator and how we can animate some of these accessories like the auto gate man or even the burning switch tower. Okay, so the fast track accessory activator pack comes with actually 3 pieces of track. There's 2 5-inch straights, and those 5-inch straights are special, and I'll get to that in a second. And then you've got your 10-inch track that has your plug-and-play lock-on. So what's different about this piece of track from the single lock-on that we had before is if you look on the underside, the single plug-and-play lock-on only has 2 wires, one connected to the center rail and one connected to the outside rail. Whereas the piece of track that comes with the accessory activator pack has 3 wires connected underneath. There's one to the center rail, one to the outside rail, and then there's a 3rd wire that goes over and connects to the outside rail opposite of where the plug-and-play terminal is. That's important because these 5-inch straight tracks, they have a gap in the outside rail. It's electrically isolating this rail from this rail. So we're putting the insulated gaps on the same side of the track as the plug-and-play lock-on. So now let's go ahead and put it back in our layout. Plug our accessory back in. And the only thing that comes on is a light, which is the operation we're looking for. Megan, if you can go ahead and run the train. When the train enters that insulated block, gate man comes out of the shed. When it leaves, it goes back inside. And that's the type of operation we're actually looking for. And that's what this fast track accessory activator section does for you. So why does this accessory come with the control box? It comes with the control box because when you purchase the Auto Gate Man, you get everything you need in the box to make it function. What you're not purchasing when you buy the Auto Gate Man, or maybe you don't know, or you're your dealer doesn't have it in stock or whatever the circumstances are. When you purchase this and you don't purchase the Fast Track accessory activator, well, we still want you to be able to use these accessories. So we include these control boxes. This allows you to connect it to your plug-and-play single terminal lock-on and still be able to activate the gate man by pushing the button. Of course, when you bring in the accessory activator extender or accessory activator pack for plug-and-play, this button box is no longer required to make the auto gate man operate properly. Again, this is one of those accessories that's ideal for train proximity to trigger the accessory itself. Let's go ahead and run that around a couple more times. Just allow the user to see what it looks like in operation. I guess now we'll talk about the advantages between DC power and AC power.
All right.
And,
Sounds good.
So if you're going to grow your railroad over time, right, you're going to add more locomotives, whether they're Lion Chief locomotives or even Lion Chief Plus locomotives. That power supply that comes with your ready-to-run set just doesn't have enough amperage to run to really allow you to run a Lion Chief Plus locomotive and get all the features out of it. What I mean by that is you can turn the smoke unit off and you can refrain from opening the coil coupler and the train will run fine. You'll get all the sounds, whistle, bell, announcement, the speed control, everything will work. But the minute that you go to fire that coil coupler by double tapping the whistle
On Lion Chief Plus?
on Lion Chief Plus, boom, you're going to overload the transformer. Power's going to turn off and come back on, like we showed here a little bit ago when the accessories were, lights were flickering, the accessories were hopping. That pretty much tells you you've overloaded your power. So you can solve that problem with one of these 72 watt power supplies. You can go that route, power your track with the 72 watt, and you've got enough power to run the fan driven smoke, to fire the coil coupler. You can probably, you would definitely get away with running 2 steam engines, 1 diesel and 1 steam engine, no problem. But ultimately, if you plan to grow the railroad over time, right, you know that you're going to grow this into something larger than 40 by 60, whether it's 4 by 8, 5 by 9, or even bigger, following the walls, whatever. As you grow, one of the things that you want to try and aim for, ultimately, is you want to put AC power to your track. The DC power is compatible with all of the Lion Chief and Lion Chief Plus products. But if you have Lionel locomotives that are, say, conventional control from an earlier starter set from, say, 2013 or back, or you have, maybe one of your grandparents' Lionel trains from the post-war era, really anything pre-Lion Chief, those trains won't run on DC power. What's going to happen is when you put it on the track, the first thing that's going to happen is a whistle is immediately going to go off, and you can't control it.
Yeah.
Plus, your track voltage is fixed at 18 volts. So if the E unit is cycled to make the train go forward or backwards, guess what? Light speed. You
Not
take
good.
off. Train tumbles across the floor, hits the baseboards. It's ugly. So you want to have AC power.
Okay.
So as you grow, right, you start with your ready to run set. You have your DC power supply, which, as we said before, gives you the ability to control a couple lighted accessories. As that begins to grow and overload your power supply, we recommended the 72 watt power supply with the 3-position plug-and-play terminal track, putting the 4 amp supply here and the power supply for the track on the track power itself, running auxiliary 4 amp and power supply included with the set on the track. And you can continue to grow with these power supplies to run your accessories, but eventually you're going to get to a point where you have to make a decision. Am I ever going to run anything that's not Lion Chief or Lion Chief Plus? And if the answer to that question is yes, you're going to need something like a CW80. A CW80 has been our standby transformer that we used to include in our ready-to-run sets. Great transformer. It's 5 amps. It's got 4 sets of posts on the back. Kind of takes you away from the plug-and-play world a little bit, but not entirely. And what I mean by that is, how do you connect this to that barrel jack track.
Yeah, because me being new in the hobby, I find it to be intimidating when I see some of the larger transformers or even these other conventional methods of putting power to your track.
Yep.
So.
And so we have a part that we sell through customer service that will eventually become available in the Lionel catalog, and it's basically a cable that has a barrel jack on one end, and it has spade terminals on the other end that just connect right on your post or your transformer.
Oh, kind of the best of both worlds.
Exactly. So while it's not per se plug and play because you've got to actually connect the spade terminals to the transformer, in essence it really is, right? And if you refer to that part number that's on the bottom of the screen, if that's of any interest to you, just contact Lionel Customer Service to order that part, or you can order it online without the dashes. That will allow you to put AC power to your track. You can continue to use your 4-amp power supplies with your terminals.
Yeah.
You know, again, you can take that cable, plug in your barrel jack, have it connected to an AC transformer, so your accessories are powered off AC. You know, you've got ways to grow. You know, you're not limited to one thing or another. The beauty of the plug-and-play system is it simplifies the wiring for the entry-level beginners. Even the seasoned professionals that are still buying these accessories, we have a if you can grab that female pigtail there. Yeah. Basically, what we have is with most of your accessories, we include this 8-inch pigtail. And for the seasoned guys out there who really don't want to go the plug-and-play route, it's real simple. You just take your accessory, your plug-and-play harness, and you plug it into the female cable. And now you've got 3 wires on here that you can wire into your existing layout wiring. And the color coding is very simple. Red is AC hot, black is AC ground. Or it could be it could be a DC voltage positive, DC voltage negative, and the white wire is insulated outside rail.
Okay.
So in this scenario where we have the fast track activator, if you're a tubular guy and you've got a 153C, for instance, on your tubular track to activate your accessory, white goes to the contact on the bottom, black goes to common, and red is connected to your accessory power. And so it's real simple. Another great feature of plug and play is if you have this wired on your layout, it's been installed there for years on end, and you decide, or not decide, but you have to replace a lamp, for instance, right? I've seen customers out there that have this spaghetti factory of wires coming out of the layout. They take their accessory, they go repair it, they bring it back, and they don't remember what wire goes where. Well, guess what? When they wire it wrong and they blow it up, they got to take it back and fix it again.
Yeah.
Plug and play, you simply unplug it, do what you need to do, bring it back. It's a standardized connector. You plug it back together, and your accessory's working. Real simple way, you know, if you're doing a layout temporarily on the carpet or the hardwood floor, there's really no good way to hide it.
Yeah.
You know, if it's under the Christmas tree and you have a tree skirt, you know, you can run a lot of these wires. They're 3 feet long. So you can run them through the center, bring them down under the tree skirt, plug them into these sections. If it's a permanent layout or one that's has the potential to grow, if it's on a tabletop or a board or something like that, you can put these terminals on the outside of the track, so they're closest to the edge. Plug in there, bring them down underneath, bring them up through a hole in the layout.
Okay, yeah.
It's really depends on the environment that the layout is in or the trains are in. So if it's more of a permanent style layout,
okay,
it's great. Punch a hole or drill a hole. This wire runs down underneath the accessory, so nothing actually comes out from underneath it. And you bring it back up at this port, plug it in, and you're done.
Awesome. No, that's great. That would help my household out very, very much.
Excellent. Excellent. And now that you have all this fantastic training on this stuff, we do expect photos next week. Since we know what you're doing this weekend.
Could be working on my layout.
Excellent. Well, thank you all for joining us. We hope that the information we provided here today is helpful in helping you understand the plug-and-play system. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email us at talktous@lionel.com. Our customer service staff would be happy to explain any of this to you.
Yeah, and also, if you're looking for any of our new plug and play accessories, please visit Lionel.com and kind of search around and see what you can find. As well as you can also locate your local dealer, Lionel Authorized Dealer, online and go buy some accessories today.
Yep.
Yep. Have
Thank
a good
you.
one. Thank you.